Hi, everyone. I thought I would look at present you something in terms of what my professional journey has been in relation to also my academic achievements and the way I've looked at education in a way to help me progress and get where I am today. Because I know that education right now plays a big part in your life. And it's the measure, is the way you look at, where you're going to be when you're all grown up and when you make those big career choices. But what I've realized over the years, this is, at least for as far as I'm concerned, it has been a little bit of the thing that has held me back in a way, and I will explain you why in a second. Because I was born in Italy. I left this country a couple of decades ago. It feels like a lifetime now. And we have a bit of a different way of studying compared to England. I'm still trying to get my head around how you go through that journey. But for us, getting an education is how you find your identity, your place into society. The higher your grade, the higher your achievements academically, the more weight you carry when then you go into the world and society. I studied in 3 different countries. So I did my university degree in Italy. At the same time, I was doing, because my first degree is in modern languages. One of them was Chinese. So I went to China for a little while. And then I finally came to the UK because I couldn't speak a word of English. So I thought, why not? Let's go and learn it. I am quite the adventurous type. And also I was incredibly impulsive in my early career. And at that stage, when I first arrived in the UK, if I had to tell you I had it all figured out, no, I didn't. I had no idea what to do, because despite the fact I came from a background where you get ready to then go and get a job and do something with your life. Being a woman from the south of Italy, that was not really a priority. So nobody ever really sat down and talked to me about, what do you want to be when you grow up? So I had to learn it, and it's been an incredible journey. It's taken me probably 6 or 7 years after arriving in the UK to actually land where I am today, which is my marketing career. And I've progressed also with education, because at that stage, what I felt is like, before I get into anything, I must know everything there is to know about it, because otherwise I'm not going to be good enough to do the job. And that's what I mean by holding you back a little bit, because actually you're already there. When you look at a job and you get started professionally, you will not tick all the boxes. Nobody really does. Even the people that have been in their career for decades, there is also always going to be something that you need to learn. And that's the most wonderful thing about growing up, especially professionally, because you never really get to the point where you know it all. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you makes you who you are then as you progress, is that openness to be ready to learn and to grow, even when you're really good at what you do. I've worked across several type of industries, mostly because, like Devolina, curiosity is my biggest thing. I have to know about everything, and I want to learn about everything. And I also looked at how education was then going to help me fill the gaps to progress into my next career goal. So rather than just studying it all because randomly without really having an objective, I started to look at what I needed to progress further. And this is how, my master's degree came into place. And also the status I've got now, I've held it for about for 5 years now, which is the chartered marketeer status. So that is something that you, as a marketeer, you would normally be linked to the Chartered Institute of Marketing. And if you complete CPD, and you have to do an assessment, is an exam-based achievement, then you're awarded a status. And to me, it's a label, but it's also not, because the commitment behind this little label is the willingness to getting better and better and growing and learning. So CPD is a huge part of what I do. And so is mentoring. So I've purposely marked one of my milestone career-wise, because as I said, I work different sector, different companies, but there have been companies where there was a significant shift, not just in terms of climbing the ladder, but also me as a person. I learned a lot about myself, and I was ready to go to jump into the next challenge. And in one of these roles, where I was finding myself more and more, that's when I met Migrant Leaders. And I think it has been an incredibly humbling experience, because the migrants have had the pleasure and the privilege to get to know over this period of time. It's just incredible. I mean, the drive and the passion and the commitment, it's just inspiring. And I think for us, it's great to absorb that, because we learn as much from you as you do from us. And I think, now I am in a stage where I'm ready to take the next step up on the ladder. But the thing that I have really come to cherish is the person I've become in the process. I'm quite confident, not just professionally, I know to do my job. It's not that. I know who I am. I know what I value. I know what I prioritize. For me, inclusivity, it's important. We are all the same, but we're also not. And that diversity is what makes everything work better and in harmony. The moment that we don't welcome diversity and we don't embrace diversity, we are raising barriers that are also going to stop our growth. So I'm a massive supporter of everything that is ED&I. In my most recent role, I had the privilege of working in a people-centered environment, and that has really been such a blessing, because I've been working on projects that look at inclusivity for groups that more often than not are marginalized, especially as they enter the career pathway. So for me, the message today is really love yourself. The first thing is really trust yourself, trust your capabilities. It can get a little bit scary. It always happens, even when you're all grown up, it really does. It's when you get out of that comfort zone, you will feel a little bit scary. But that fear should not be the reason why you do not become the best version of yourself and the person you want to be. So keep pushing, take a deep breath, step away from it for a minute if it gets really, really overwhelming, but then go back at it. And the thing that works for me sometimes is evidence. So I make a list of the reason why I shouldn't do something and the reason why I should. Because for me, it's really important to know, to build confidence around that decision. It needs to be an informed decision. Being impulsive was a lot of fun in my 20s. Now, not so much. You really need to sit down for a second and think what you're going to be doing. But it's really important that you allow yourself that opportunity to try, even when it's really, really scary, if you feel that that's where you want to be. Be kind, because, we all have background stories. It's true that you never really know a person. Sometimes there are people, especially in the workplace, that it looks like as if they've got it all together. Everything is perfect. Everything is fine. It might not be. We all have a baggage. We all have cultural backgrounds that have shaped us in a way or another. We all live by sometimes unspoken rules that really affect how we see the world. So we need to be kind, accepting of absolutely everyone, and make space for everyone and for every idea, because even if there is sometimes we look at things that in a different way, it doesn't mean that one opinion is worthy more than another. So keep your mind open, let everybody in, and also embrace change. Change is a funny thing, because it happens at every level. Sometimes it happens just within yourself. Sometimes it's literally life. You are in a place one day and the next one you're doing something else. I love change. Sometimes, I am the type of person that the higher the pressure, the more I thrive. Now, I'm not saying do it like this, But it's not, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Change brings something new, and more often than not, it's the right path, even if in that moment in time might not feel like that. So let it happen, understand it, and you know, and be, again, love yourself, trust yourself, because I think that's the really what's going to get you as far as you want to get in your life, both professionally and personally. That's it.